Hey, this is Gary from 3Bug Media, and today we're going to answer a very common question we get from potential customers, and that is, how much does SEO cost? Now, you may find that on most marketing websites, you do not see a fixed price list for SEO services, and there's a good reason for that. A lot of people think that they're trying to hide their pricing, or they're just going to try to see how much money they can get from a business. Well, that's not usually the case. The reason that the pricing isn't there and it's fixed is because there's too many factors to determine, what the budget would be for any particular business. There's more information that's needed in order to determine effective pricing on there. Now, I could easily say, every client, every business is, say $1,000 a month or $500 a month, and post those on there, and I can take everybody's business. But I'd be doing you a disservice, because for, say, $500 a month, if you were selling gift baskets in, Mobile, Alabama or something like that, that may be a perfectly effective budget, or maybe too big of a budget, to get you, effective SEO. But what if you're a lawyer in LA? $500 a month for SEO, you might as well go out and spend $500 on a fancy dinner every month. You would have the same effect on your SEO than you would if you spent that $500 towards an SEO service. It's too competitive. The industry, the city, there's too many factors. It's extremely competitive. That price point will not get you any traction. So when we try to determine pricing for SEO, we want to determine what is the budget needed to be effective, to get you results. And that's what we try to determine, and there's several factors involved, which we're going to go over right now. So the first factor is, what's included in the service that somebody's offering? SEO is a broad kind of term, and it means different things to different people. And some people will say, oh, they're offering SEO services, when they're actually not, or they're offering only one segment of SEO services. And I'll give you, for instance, you may find, say, writers or social media experts or things like that say, hey, we do SEO campaigns, we'll do SEO for you. But in the end, they're just creating content, or they're sharing content on social media. That may be a small part of SEO, but that's not SEO. They're just calling it SEO. Really, SEO is comprised of 3 things. I like to call it TLC. It's the technical aspects of SEO, it's link building, and it's content. So only when you have all 3 of those things together do you actually have a comprehensive SEO program or campaign going. So the first thing you need to determine is, what's included in the service? Am I getting, are you going to fix the technical things on my site? Are you going to make it fast? Are you going to optimize all the pages? Things like that. Are you going to do a link building campaign? And if so, what's involved in the link building campaign? What kind of links are you going to get for me? And also content. Are you going to be creating content on the site? And after you create the content, are you going to optimize it? Are you going to share it? Are you going to promote it? Try to get some links for it, things like that. So you need to determine what's included in the service on there. Next is what industry you're in. Like we just talked about, if you're a lawyer, highly competitive industry, especially in bigger cities, it depends what industry you're in. If you're a plumber, you're a locksmith, waterproofing, things like that, super competitive industries. And it can get very expensive because your competitors are spending lots of time and lots of money optimizing their sites, because it has a big payoff if they can get found in the search engines. So what industry you're in plays a factor in what the pricing would be, because as an SEO company, when we looked at it, we want to see, well, what's the industry like? How competitive is that industry in that market? And what resources would be needed to compete with these competitors? So that plays a role in what the pricing is going to be. Next is, where are you targeting? Are you a local business targeting one city or one part of a city? Are you regional? Are you national? Are you worldwide? It depends where you're targeting. Running a local SEO campaign for one city, is less than if you were a law firm that had wanted a national presence, and you wanted to basically optimize for these very big high traffic terms. That plays a big role in your budget as well. So we want to find out where you're targeting. And we also want to find out who your competitors are and how your website compares to them. So when we talk about your competitors, we're talking about your competitors in the search engine results. So what competition do you have? Because, if you want to get on page 1 of Google or in the top 5 in Google, you need to see who's there now. How many people do you need to get ahead of and jump over in order to get that, get those results? Because in the end, you need to be on the first page of the search results to get any kind of traffic. And to really get the bulk of the traffic, you need to be in the top 5 on there. So those all play a role too, because you may have competitors that have been doing this for years. They're spending thousands of dollars a month and they've, have a multi-year head start over you. Maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you've never done any kind of optimization or really focus on online marketing. And now all of a sudden you want to compete with these guys. Well, a $500 a month budget starting from zero isn't going to get you the traction of somebody that's been doing this for 5 years already and is spending $1,500 or $3,000 a month on there. It's kind of like running a marathon. You start the pace with somebody else, you both are running at the same pace, you decide to stop for an hour as the other person keeps going. Now, when you resume your running, how fast do you need to go to catch them up? Is it catch up to them? If you keep the same pace you had before, you'll never catch up with them. So you need to do double time to try to catch them and pass them on there. So same thing with SEO is you have to look at your competitors and where you sit in relation to those competitors. So we need to determine, well, what are the resources needed? What's involved to get your website ahead of everyone else's? And that plays a big part in how that's going to be priced. So as far as pricing goes, it's all over the map, and that's why most SEO companies will not give pricing, or if they do, it's very vague. It might be starting at or around, or your industry is somewhere in this ballpark and something like that. And those are valid, because if you have experience doing this, you probably have a general ballpark idea of what the pricing's going to be. So you can be paying anywhere from $500 to $10,000 plus a month for SEO. Like I said, it all depends on, what's included in the service, what industry you're in, where you're targeting, where you sit in relation to your competitors, and it also depends on your goals. If you want to be number 1 for 20 different keywords and they're highly competitive keywords, well, you're probably going to have to cough up a pretty big budget to do that. As opposed to maybe you have, less competitive terms that you want to go after, or maybe not as many terms or something like that. That also plays a factor of what your goals are. What do you want to achieve with an SEO campaign? So there's a couple things to be careful of, and we see this all the time, especially with small businesses. They tend to get preyed on by, sometimes well-meaning companies that are offering the wrong products or services, or just don't have the experience to do what they say they can do, or maybe some overseas companies that are just trying to make a quick buck off you. So be very careful, and you probably get these already. Unsolicited emails that are vague and unbranded from marketing companies. So you may get these generic emails from a Gmail account or a Yahoo account that basically says, I've reviewed your website and I've seen that you're not optimized or ranking in the search engines and you need X, Y, and Z. And for $200 a month, we can get you at the top page of Google. That's all BS. You're better off just going to the mall and go buying yourself something, or spending the money on yourself, because that is an absolute waste of money. Some of the clues that you'll find on here, most of these are unbranded emails, so it's from a generic account like a Gmail account or a Hotmail account or something like that, and it also doesn't have the company name, email address, where they're located, things like that, kind of like what you would see in an email signature from a reputable company. The reason they do that is twofold. Is number one, they don't want you to report them as spam, because these are spam people. These are basically the email equivalent of cold call centers overseas. They send out tens of thousands of these emails every month, hoping that a handful of them will respond to you. And they offer bottom of the barrel services, if any services, and they're pretty much a waste of money. So if you see any of these generic emails, unbranded, things like that, just delete them. They're an absolute waste of money. The other thing that they do with this, these are call centers overseas that are trying to solicit business. And what they do is, once they get a lead, so if you reply back to them, say, I'm interested, what they do is they turn around, they sell that lead to a marketing company could be anywhere in the world. They'll sell that lead for 50 bucks or $100 to them, and then that company is going to follow up with you. Same thing. Most of the time, it's bottom of the barrel companies. They're just going for high volume. They don't care about results. They don't care what the budgets are. They're just trying to they can get you for 3 months and get several $100 out of you. They're more than happy with that because they work on volume. They'll just churn on to the next person. So be very wary of those unsolicited emails. Be very wary of companies that overpromise and give you unrealistic guarantees. So overpromise is, we guarantee you'll be on the first page of Google. We guarantee you're going to rank for these keywords, especially if they haven't done any research at this point. If you get that and somebody says that to you, don't get involved with them, because they're just throwing out any kind of guarantee they can to get your money now. They have no idea what they can do for you, because when it comes to search engine optimization, us as marketing companies, SEOs, we can't tell you with a guarantee that something's going to happen, because Google or Bing are the only people that determine where you rank in the search engines. The only thing we can do is we can use our experience and we can use our analysis and knowledge to let you know, with kind of our expectations, what we think from our experience, what you can achieve with this budget. And if you deal with a more experienced person, that's usually more accurate, because they've done this plenty of times before and they have a good idea what work is needed to get you where you want to go. So if you hear anyone that just says right off the bat, they don't even know you, they haven't spent any time saying, hey, we guarantee you're going to get results, or you guarantee you're going to be #1 in Google, things like that, run for the hills. And lastly, if you see something for a super low price, if somebody says, hey, SEO's is time consuming. Basically, when you're doing SEO, you're paying for time. It's a lot of research. There's a lot of outreach. There's a lot of content. Link building is labor intensive. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of strategy to do it effectively. So if you get somebody that says, I'll do SEO for $200 a month, or $300 a month even, be wary of that, because it goes back to here. What's included with that service? What are you actually going to do? And more times than not, when we work with a new client that was working with somebody and they were paying, hey, I was paying the Yellow Pages, $200 a month for SEO, or I was paying some company overseas, $300 a month for SEO. When we actually do the analysis and find out what was happening, there was actually almost nothing being done. Usually that time and money is spent on giving you reports, or on stuff that's already happening that they're actually not even doing, or it's just very rudimentary stuff like building directory citations or blog comments and crap like that. So you're not actually getting many results for it. So if somebody offers you a rock bottom price, be wary. It doesn't mean that they're, maybe they can't deliver. Just question that, because like I said, SEO is time consuming, it's labor intensive. So to do it correctly does take time and resources, and that's why SEO tends to cost more money, because it's a lot of work up front. But the nice thing with SEO is, once it starts to take hold, once you start getting those rankings and that traffic, it's perpetual. So it's not like advertising, where as soon as you stop advertising and stop paying, it automatically stops. SEO can last months and months and even years. Even if you stopped at some point when you get those rankings, it takes a long time before they start to slide on you. So there's a big potential payout doing SEO the right way, and that's why it's so competitive. It has a great ROI, and that's why it costs what it does. And as you can see now, hopefully this explained it, why you don't see most companies posting kind of carte blanche pricing and price charts and matrices and things like that on their websites, because they need more information from you to determine what budget will be needed to be effective for you. Okay, so I hope that answered your question. If you want to learn more about SEO and online marketing, you can go to 3bugmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Thank you very much, and have a good day.